A warm good evening to one and all present here. We have gathered here to attend to Lecture 3 of Professor H.D. Sankalia monthly lecture series on Jain heritage, which is an initiative of Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Deccan College, Postgraduate and Research Institute, deemed to be University Pune. The Lecture 3 of Professor H.D. Sankalia monthly lecture series on Jain heritage would be delivered by eminent Jain art historian and a person who has worked a lot on the sites of West Bengal and Chhotanagpur Plateau, Dr. Shubha Majumder, sir. This talk will shed light on the Lost Jain Temple Site and stray sculptures from the Chhotanagpur Plateau. It will highlight the art historical and iconographic characteristics of the Jain sculptures of the specific region as mentioned. Before we begin, I request Dr. Shrikant Ganvir, the coordinator of Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, to give a brief introduction of the activities of the chair for all those who have joined us for the first time.
Good evening to all of you, and on the behalf of Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, I welcome all of you for the lecture. Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology was established last year at Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Deccan College Postgraduate Research uh, Institute, deemed to be university. We have different academic activities, and one of them is Professor S.D. Sankalia monthly online lecture series to commemorate our tribute to Professor S.D. Sankalia's um, great contribution to Indian archaeology in general and archaeology of Jainism, Jain art and architecture in particular. Professor S.D. Sankalia was instrumental in opening and establishing researches in the fields of Jain literature, Jain art, Jain inscriptions. Many students under his guidance carried out research for doctoral dissertations. It was Professor S.D. Sankalia and Dr. Shobna Gokhale who shed light on early Jainism in the Western Deccan after their detailed study of Pale inscription, that is a Jain inscription, in the late 60s and early 70s of the century. Another lecture series which was commenced by Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology is Professor S.B. Dev Memorial Annual Lecture, which generally takes place in the first week of October, and the first lecture in this series was delivered by an eminent archaeologist and a great leading scholar of Jainism, Professor A.P. Jamkherkar sir. So we have also organized first national seminar in the fields of Jain heritage, art and architecture, and also recently first national workshop on Jain visual art. So with this we have a couple of activities which basically aims to disseminate awareness about Jain heritage, Jain art and architecture, also to provide academic platform to young scholars in the form of providing internship. I again welcome Dr. Shubha Majumder sir and all participants. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Oshin.
I now request Dhananjay Khandare, the research assistant of Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, to give a kind introduction of our today's speaker.
Good evening, everyone. Our today's speaker, Dr. Shubha Majumder, is a superintending archaeologist at the Archaeological Survey of India and Customs Branch, Mumbai Circle, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. Dr. Majumder also worked as a deputy superintendent archaeologist in ASI for a few years. He did PhD on Jainism in ancient Bengal, its architecture, art, and archaeology from the University of Kolkata. Dr. Majumdar was a recipient of UGC Junior and Senior Research Fellowships. He also received the prestigious Professor Sudhir Ranjan Das Memorial Prize at the Indian History Congress. He directed excavations of archaeological sites such as Bharatpur, Damdam, Khana Mihir Dhipi, Chandragarh Ketu, to name a few. His articles have been published in journals and research publications of national and international repute. He has delivered multiple lectures and has been actively involved in academic as well as heritage awareness works. Thank you.
With this, we welcome our speaker and all the esteemed scholars and the participants who have attended today. I now request Dr. Shubha Majumdar sir to kindly begin his lecture.
Thank you. The PPT is visible, na?
The PPT is visible, sir, and you're audible. Can you please put it on full screen?
Okay. Now it is in full screen.
Not really, sir. Did you click on share entire screen while sharing the screen? If you click on share entire screen and then select the screen which is visible and then click on share, it will be visible and the slides would also move.
Now it is okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I really grateful to Deccan College and the Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, and especially Dr. Sikand Ganganvi sir and Ocean and other associate of this wonderful venture by the Deccan College. And it is my great pleasure for me to deliver the Professor H.D. Sankalia monthly lecture series on Jain heritage. And because H.D. Sankalia is one of the stalwart in Indian archaeology, and it is a great pleasure for me. So today, I try to highlight it about some issues regarding the Jain art and archaeology, especially in the Chhotanagpur Plateau region. Because during my research and after the research, when I am posted as a ASI official, I feel that there are some requirement and the necessary for the field who explore recently and research on the different aspect of Jainism in different parts of India. Because like the Brahmanism and the Buddhism, both these matter has already been extensively explored and studied by the various scholars. However, Jainism is also studied. Not only it is not studied, but it is studied, but especially studied for where a abundant number of Jain temple and images was found, basically found, likely in the South India and the Central India. However, in case of Eastern India, the Jainism, which is also flourished during the from very early time, and it is again flourished during the early medieval time also. But scholar, they studied and they highlighted about the presence of Jain antiquity in the different parts of Eastern India. But some detailed research really required for proper understanding about the growth and development, and along the growth of development of Jainism, the association of the art tradition. Because in Eastern India, we generally know that in Eastern India, especially in the Bihar and Bengal, there is a school of art known as the Palshan School of Art. But we don't know how the Palshan School of Art influenced the Jain idiom, the Jain sculpture, especially because we see that the Jainism, Buddhism, and the Brahmanical images are very much influenced by the Palshan School of Art. However, we don't know about what is the impact of the Palshan School of Art in the Jain sculptural elements. So for this, and also for extensively micro-regional study, we need to study the images which found during our exploration, especially in Chhotanagpur Plateau, in very minutely. If you study those images minutely and their iconographic features, then it will be very easy for understanding us to develop develop the concept that how the micro regional variation are there, and it is what is the different from the art style, different from the major school of art, which at that time flourished in this part of the India subcontinent. So in this case, I mainly choose this topic, the exploring the Lost Jain Temple Site and the stay sculpture from the Chhotanagpur Plateau, because like. It is when we explore the site in the Chhotanagpur Plateau, we found that there are some the Jain remains and the sculpture we notice, but without any temple. Some in some cases we found the temple, but the images are missing. So this concept for especially for the Eastern India, especially for the Chhotanagpur Plateau, is very really essential for our proper understanding about the actual context of those Jain sculptures, because we explore and we reported those Jain heritage, but we really require to understand the context of those sculpture, because without knowing the proper context of this sculpture, it is a very much type of vague type of research we can done for the Jainism in Eastern India, especially in the Bihar, Bengal, and case of Jharkhand also. Like you all know, the Chhotanagpur Plateau region, the Eastern India cover the much recently created the Jharkhand site, as well as the bordering area of the Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar, and some part of the Chhattisgarh. The geophysical is the area covering the roughly area about 86239 square kilometer, laying between the this latitude longitude, and that region comprise the plateau varying the altitude, which are this is due to the incident of the weathering and the erosions. So the Chhotanagpur Plateau mainly containing the part of the plateau area, and as well as some part of the plain also. There are some plain area also. And for this area, the present region of the Chhotanagpur Plateau of Jharkhand exhibit is identically through its own history, which is not similar to the other area. The history of the land may be marked as a history of the aboriginal people. So this is very much interesting in case, or especially for the study of the Jain art heritage, because the Aboriginal people are very much associated with the growth and development of the Jainism, in particular this area. Apart from the colonial historiography, the comprising the survey record, that is the geological, ethnological, and forest survey report, the archaeological tour and the survey, particularly that the Valentin Ball, J.D. Beglar, different type of from the British accounts, we know about the exploration and their field visit in the different archaeological site or the temple in the Chhotanagpur Plateau area. The recognition of the portraying the total archaeological picture of the landmass may be given to the Dilip Chakraborty, who made a pioneering attempt in this direction. The contribution of the R.D. Banerjee and later on the D.R. Das in context of the temple architecture and sculpture remains of the entire region laid the foundation of the research in the historical record of the concerned region. So the work has been done by the earlier the Rakhaldas Banerjee, and later on the Deepak Ranjan Das also studied extensively the temple architecture remains, especially in the Chhotanagpur Plateau, which also really really interesting for understanding the temple construction activity in association with the Jainism. And later on, Dilwar Bhangra and the Bulu Imam also they have partially studied the archaeological heritage of the Jharkhand in broad aspect. The rich, diverse spread of antiquity remains period between the 8th-9th century to the 12th century, particularly the abundant temple, architectural, member, and sculptural, which gradually with the time unfolded before the scholarly world, most are associated with the Buddhism and the Brahmanical ideology. Brahmanical ideology and the Jainism, though some Buddhist antiquity are also found from the area. In the recent years, several discoveries indicate the Chinese appearance in the stronghold in this part of the of newly constructed the part of the Jharkhand, the Chhotanagpur Plateau area. According to the Jain literature, the 24th among the 24 Tirthankar, the 19th Tirthankar got Nirvan at the hill, including the 23rd Tirthankar of Parshvanath, the the hill is known as the Shamet Shikhar. And another important Jain pilgrim center of the area was the Kolua Hill. So the Shamet Shikhar is already a famous pilgrimage center for the Jain community, and the Kolua Hill also a very much important site. And a good number of the Jain rock cut sculpture we notice in the hill. The Jain antiquity are not confirmed in particularly this area. It spread throughout the length and breadth of the entire region. Several Jain antiquities in the form of sculptural elements as well as the architectural fragment were noticed during the field work in the region. When we explore the area, because these two areas is earlier known, and not much research has been done before we can say as a 2010 or 12, then not much emphasis has been given to the understand about the Jain heritage and Jain archaeology of this part of land. However, we explored the area and we found a good number of the Jain remains scattered in the different parts of this Chhotanagpur Plateau area. Though till date, not much has been done in the field of Jainism, particularly the reconstruction, the stage of development of the Jainism in the undulating forested land of the country. However, the presence of the Brahmanical as well as Buddhism in the area is already been known among the scholarly world. In the recent in this context, it is mentioned here that in one of the recent articles, the Chattopadhyay Professor Rupendra Chattopadhyay has tried to identify this region is associated with the Jainism. In his paper, in the context of the Jaino connection, he mentioned about a distinct regional identity is discernible from the Jaina sculpture, that is the image of the Tirthankara, Shashana Devis beside the Chomukha, recorded in and around the territory comprising the ancient Manbhum, the modern Purulia in West Bengal, Shingbhum district in Jharkhand, and Kolwa region in Hazaribagh, and of course the old Raro tract, that is the part of the Bankura, Mednapur and adjoining Bardhaman and Birbhum district of West Bengal. Stylistically, one may observe the emergence of the regional style of the Jaina sculpture that gradually conclave at both the central India and the post-Gupta development of the South Bihar plain, that is Ganga Valley. Because there is a common tendency about the identifications of the Jain art style, and because the earlier scholar has already been studies in the Jain, in case of the Buddhism and the Brahmanical, and they try to highlight about the art style which developed in the Ganga Valley, like in the post-Gupta period. It also influenced this area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau, like in the other part of the Purulia, Birbhum, Bankura. But this statement regarding the stylistic feature of the Jain antiquities of the entire region may not be acceptable. But this is not acceptable in all cases or in all Jain images found from this region. It is necessary to mention here that the regional style which emerged in the region had some influence from the art style of the Rajgir region during the formative stage, but gradually it developed its own individuality. During the expanding phase, the regional style flourished without any influence of the contemporary art style surviving in the Ganga Valley. So, after the exploration and after the extensive survey, it is understanding here that this is the art style which started during the pre-early medieval phase. Some cases they have followed and they are influenced by directly not the Sharna school of or the post-Gupta art style in the central in the Ganga Valley, but it influenced by the Rajgir region, Rajgir school of art, actually for the Jain images. And later on, the art style which developed this Chhotanagpur Plateau area is clearly indicate that it has the regional variety and it is not directly influenced by the art style which survived in that time in the Ganga Valley and other part of the eastern India. So this is very much interesting and very much important to understand about the regional development, how the regional art style has been developed, but under the broad of the general terminology of the Palshan school of art, if we study the images in depth. So the art style which survived for a long period of time in the region without any royal patronage, and the evidence of the activities of the local artisan are scattered across the length and breadth of the region. This skilled art spectacle art activity were discovered by the various scholars over a long period of time, but this art object till date have not been studied properly to understand the various development stages of this strong regional art style. So this art style, the regional art style, need to be studied in context, how it is origin and how it is development in one micro region to the another micro region. In the connection with this art style, it may also be mentioned here that the Jain style entire Chhotanagpur Plateau area has been micro regional variation. It is also submitted here that there are some diversity in nature in the Jain antiquity discovered so far among the core area and the fringe area of this plateau. So there are some variation after the exploration. We also identify that there are some variation in the art style which develop in the core area and the plateau area. Like we can call as a the core area means Ranchi and the core area, entire core area, and the other part of the plateau area, which is in the extent part of the bordering part of the Purulia and Bankura district. In the fringe area, we came across the temple associated with the Jainism during the early medieval period in different conditions. However, in the core area, we find very few remains of temple which may associate with the Jainism. So there are some variation among the context, among the findings, as well as the context of the Jain antiquities. The area of the Jaina Tirthankara images also noticed in the Purulia, Bankura and the Birbhum area, where only 2 or 3 types of the Jaina Tirthankara images recorded from the core area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau area. The images of the Yakshini as well as the Bhotipu Stupa and Chomukha are also rarely noticed in the core area, whereas in the fringe area we find a good number of the representation of this type of the Jaina images. So this variation of the findings of the Jaina antiquities are also vary from the core area to the periphery area or the plateau area. And in this regard, it is also essential to mention here that the similar type of the stone were used for the engraving the Jain images in both the area, whereas in the core area, the core area of the plateau region, metal was widely used. It is interesting that for the Chhotanagpur Plateau area, the core area of the plateau, the metal was widely used rather than the stone for preparing the Jain images, and the several discovery of the metal images also supported this theory. So a good number, like in the core area actually of the Chhotanagpur Plateau belong in the main region of the Chhotanagpur Jharkhand, whereas the fringe area of the plateau like the Purulia, Bankura, Birbhum, we found the Jain images in the stone, especially with the same material like the used in the core area and the periphery area. However, in the core area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau, means especially in the Jharkhand area, we found the metal image, a good number of the metal image also found from this area. So it indicates the presence of the metal and the presence of the workers who are associated with the smelting of the metal. So this aspect is also very important for proper understanding that who are the follower and how the traders of the Jain traders, they associated with those original people of this particular land. In the regard, it is suggested here that different types of metal or ores are abundantly available in the Chhotanagpur Plateau. Like I have already told that why Chhotanagpur, a good number of the metal images is found, because the material is available for that sculptor, that this raw material. And except the metal, there are some the raw material of minerals and various type of the trees and other activities, medicinal plant also available in this part of the Chhotanagpur Plateau. And as a result, the Jain traders possibly attracted by the such abundant resource and try to harness this resource for their own development purpose. And for this reason, they might have been erected the temple and patronize the local sculpture to engrave the idols of the Jaina Tirthankara for worship. Another aspect, that originally the inhabitants as well as the downtrodden people of the area who are actually rejected by the then higher society of nearby region, without any doubt accepted the Jain ideology and converted to this ideology. Though through these religious missions, the traders were able to penetrate into the local level of the society and reach the lower strata of the people, and help them survive in their homeland without any travel. And this thing is very much helpful for flourishing the Jain religious ideology in the core area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau in the post-Gupta period onwards. So after the extensive studies, it is these are the outcome of the research which I have already done during my course of PhD and other parts of during my field work. So these are these two are the basic feature how the Jainism is basically the developed and penetrate and developed, and it is also mentioned that in Bengal also the Purulia Bakura, the Sharak, who are the actual follower of the Jainism, still they are survived, and more Sharak are available in the Chhotanagpur Plateau region. Though some cases they are not directly follower of the Jainism in present day, but they followed some ritual which are mentioned in the Jain tradition, like the vegetarian. They are most of them are vegetarian. So these are some indications that the tradition, though they change their religious ideology at present, but they follow their own earlier traditions. So it indicates how depth the Jainism entered in this part of the core area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau. In the context, how I think that these are the major emphasis for the development of Jainism in this part. In this context, we can realize, or we can remind that the 13 line of Dudhpani rock inscription from the Hazaribagh area, and it is clearly mentioned that the assigned to the inscription assigned to the 18th century, and in the inscription it is clearly mentioned that 3 merchants went on the business from the Ayodhya to Tamilnadu and made the huge fortune. On the way their home, they are settled in this forested zone and carved out the principally with the consent of the king Magadha. So in the inscription, it is clearly mentioned that they are the traders. They follow this particular route through the Chhotanagpur Plateau for reach the Tamilnadu, the seaport. So how we final fix this view, because we have some evidences, archaeological evidence like the inscription. They are clearly mentioned about the presence of the traders, and how they actually accepted this particular route for their trading activity. Another aspect which need to be pointed out here, that in the regard the popularity of Jainism in the area, it is representation from the Jain Acharya and the monk in the Jain Tirthankara images. The Jain images from the Purulia Bakura bear the depiction of the figure of the Acharyas and the monks. The depiction of the Acharya and the monks indicate that in and around this locality, the Jain monastic system had developed, and Jainism had strongly penetrated in the local level of the society. The presence of Acharya and the monk not only support to the depiction of the smaller images in the pedestal of the main images, however, in some side we have noticed the memorial pillar of the Jain Acharya. The pillar which contain the image of a Tirthankara without any lanchan. It clearly indicates that this pillar is a memorial pillar for the Jain Acharya. And we found some images from this part of the Chhotanagpur Plateau area, both in the core and the fringe area, the depiction of the Acharya in the main image of the Tirthankara. It may be assumed like the Shaivacharya as well as the Buddhist monk who asset the religious missions in the post-Gupta period onwards in the entire Eastern India and popularize their religious ideology. Similarly, the Jain Acharya and the monks also campaigning in the religious activity for establish the Jain ideology strongly in this particular area. So, in one context, the Shaivacharya and the Buddhist monk, they followed the major route from the Patliputra to the Ganga. From the Ganga, they directly reached to the Tamilnadu Chandraketu God, and this part they basically spread the Brahmanism as well as the Buddhism. However, the Jain traders they actually choose this part of the Chhotanagpur Plateau, and as a result, the Jain monk also They visited this particular area and from the core area to the fringe area, and as a result, the Jainism strongly penetrated in the regional level of the area. Both the Brahmanism and the Buddhism royal patronage during the time as a result that the two ideology flourished mainly the outside the area, whereas without the royal patronage, the Jainism strongly flourished in the entire undulating land along the various river valley due to the sponsorship of the Jaina merchant. In the recent extensive exploration along the river valley, namely the Ajay, Damodar, Kumari, Kamshavati, and Kasai Subharnareka and other, as well as the small indigenous channels, locally known as the Jora, issuing the main rivers, I have successfully recovering the large number of the antiquity affiliated with the Jainism from the large number of the villages. In the present discussion, I have mainly chooses the two sites, especially one is the Bhula and another is the Devaltad. In the first cases, a good number of the Jaina images noticed without any temple, and in the second cases is a renovated temple found with some Jaina images. So these are the two contexts. I have tried to highlight it that how we found during the exploration the context of the Jaina antiquity, which is really necessary for understanding the archaeological context of those images. Like this is the map of the ancient map of the Chhotanagpur Plateau, and the mark the core area, and this is the Shamet Shikharo, all the famous Jain pilgrimage center, the images of the Parshvanath, Bhagwan Parshvanath, and the major Jain follower, they almost visited, all the followers visited the Shamet Shikharo, and this is the another important pilgrimage center for Jain followers, the Koluha rock cut hill, where these 24 Tirthankara rock cut images we found. So these are the two already known Jain pilgrimage center in Jharkhand, and we have found abundant number. I have already told that the metal images from the different parts of Jharkhand, but due to the unidentification, sometimes we not identify the Jain images properly, and these images are also found from the Jharkhand and presently displayed in the Jharkhand State Archaeology Museum. You can see that these images are very much artistically very much association with the other Jain images found from the Bihar, some bronze hoard from the Bihar. So these are the some Rishabhnath and other images also found from the Jharkhand and presently displayed in the State Archaeology Museum. And there's in the State Archaeology Museum also there are some other Jain images. In some cases, their context is not properly mentioned. You can see that this is the Rishabhnath images with planetary deities and 24 Tirthankaras depicted. The Shantinath images. In this case, I have tried to highlight the small part of the pedestal, cut the photograph, and in the pedestal you can see in the left side, in your left side, a seated figure of a Acharya is depicted. So it also indicates the presence of Acharya in this particular area during the early medieval time. So the sculptural depiction also highlighted about the presence of the Acharya. I have already told about the metal images. Abundant number of the metal images found from the different part of the Chhotanagpur, mainly core area, all from the Manbhum area. These are the village explored. Some sculpture are you can see in the Akshaya. We found a beautiful Parshvanath images, and in the case you can see the Navagraha also depicted, and the Dhanendra and Padmamuti, Yaksha and Yakshini of the Tirthankara is also carved. So this is a very beautiful image of the Parshvanath. And the Neminath, the Parshvanath, again the Bahubali, and then the Parshvanath images. So Parshvanath, presence of the Parshvanath in the metal sculpture, it is also very noteworthy. So this is some features we noticed when we explored the area and we found a good number of the images. Some Ditithika type of images also found, and in some cases we have also noticed the inscription just backside of the images. It mentioned about the donation of the images. Some of the images are still worshipped, some of the images are not still worshipped. It is just kept in the modern Jain temple. during the exploration, we documented these images. So when we document the images, we need to know that the understanding the context, because all are the movable images. So these images are the movable, small, very small images. So the metal images mainly move from one side to another side. Mainly the traders, they carry the images. So we need to understand whenever we found the inscription from the back side, it is very helpful that when and how the images are donated by the traders. So we can understand the presence of these images or these images, and it shows the popularity of the Jainism in the micro level. We have found this burial ground. I have told about the presence of Acharya, but I have not directly mentioned that these are the has to do with the Jaina burial. But this type of the burial we also notice in the surrounding area of the Jain of the site where we found the Jaina image stone sculpture. And but in case of the Polkeri, this is very important. In case of the Polkeri, we have found some memorial pillar, and they reused by for their for the present purpose. But in some of the memorial pillar, we have found the images of the Brahmanical images, and in some of the memorial pillar we have noticed the Tirthankara images standing in the Kaitasarga posture. So it clearly indicates that this type of the memorial pillar they basically use for the burial purpose of both the Brahman probably the Brahmanical follower as well as the Jain follower or the Acharya. So this type of the religious pillar also found in the core area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau, the site known as the Polkeri. And you can see that these are this type of the pillar we found, and it clearly indicates there are some architectural pillar because this probably used for the temple construction. So this type of the context we can understand that how they reuse this structure, reuse this pillar for the present purpose. But it indicates that the existence of a pilgrimage center, because without a pilgrimage center, this type of the memorial pillar not offer or not constructed near to the temple. So, but unfortunately, the context of this pillar and the temple is totally lost. So we can reconstruction through this evidence that there are some religious popular religious or pilgrimage center, and as a result they offer this type of the votive pillar in memory of some followers or in respect of the acharyas. Now, the first site which I try to highlight it, this is the site known as the Bhula. The site is not published till date. I have explored the site, and some photograph of the site published in the books of Bulu Imam on Jharkhand antiquities. But he not studied the antiquities and each and every antiquities properly. We have found this context, the images they kept in a presently a Bhumijo burial ground. We can call it a burial ground because there are some circular burial are also found, the stone like which is commonly found in the Jharkhand. Size 50 kilometers from the Chandil, the famous Chandil inscriptions, and 5 kilometers from the Bhula mode. This is a very good and one of the best archaeological site in you can call it as in Jharkhand. The Jain images scattered, and they collected all the images and they kept in one place. But interestingly, not only the Jain images in this collections, we have also noticed some Brahmanical like Vishnu and Shiva images also. Vishnu images, especially in this area, and also some Chomukha. You can see that in your right side, the Chomukha is also visible. So, among the collection, the 23 Jain images we notice. So the picture clearly indicate that there are some Jain temple during the early medieval phase, but we lost the temple. We found the image in amalgamated context with other Brahmanical images. And most probably the time period of the Brahmanical images and the Jain images are same, like the 11 to 13th century. The images belong to the 11th to 13th century, but we don't know about the temple activities in this particular area. But the sculpture itself indicate that how the temple architecture activity penetrated in this area. So these photographs or this context highlighted indicate that we lost a site, we lost one of the most probably one of the major pilgrimage center among the Jain community, but nowadays only a burial ground with some Jain images. And if we study the Jain images, each and every aspect, then we can find that there is a presence of a small regional very identity of the Jain images from the Bhula, because the Bhula Jain images, which is one of the most probably one of the important center of the Jain pilgrimage center, and some features is really interesting, which is not noticed in the fringe area. So it clearly indicate that they are probably they follow the local art tradition. But in among the local art traditions, there are some variation or there are some inclusion in this particular area. You can see that all the images are badly weathered, because most probably from very long time the images are open in the sky. As a result, the images lost its iconographic features. But it is easy to, but if we study the images, we can easily identify the images, because in each cases, in each cases, Jainism, there are some specific features for identification the 24 Tirthankara. Like in these three images, you can clearly identify, though the Lanchana in the two cases are not visible, but three images belong associated with the Tirthankara Rishabhnath, because the Jata Mukuto in three cases is clearly visible. So in Jainism, Jata Mukuto is only associated with the Rishabhnath, the first Tirthankara or Adinath. And the major variation in if you can see in three cases, all the three images are the Rishabhnath, and it is a Chaubishi type images. You can see in the back slab the series of 24 Tirthankara, they depicted in the 1, 2, 3 row in three images. So the 24 Tirthankara they depicted in three images. 24 Tirthankara is depicted in 3 row, and not only the depiction of the Tirthankara, they depicted the 8 planetary deities or Groho images, also Ashtogroho images also depicted. Like in Bengal, the fringe area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau, they also depicted the most common cases. They also depicted the planetary deities, and in same features we notice in the Bhula images that they followed the planetary depiction of the planetary deities in and Ashtogroho, like the Surya, Som, Mongol, Budh, Brihaspati, Shukra, Shoni, Rahu. In some cases, Ketu also depicted. And in this case, you can see in the past images, the bull is depicted in the center of the pedestal, and the two devotee or the follower, they depicted in the folding hand in the both the edges of the Ratha projection, and the final Ratha projection containing the lion in crouching posture. So these are the basic features which commonly found in the Chhotanagpur Plateau region, in both in the fringe and the core area, and as well as the fringe area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau. But interestingly, in this case, you can understand the basic the massiveness of the and the popularity of the Rishabhnath in this particular site. And again, the Rishabhnath images, and unfortunately, the lower part is damaged. The 24 Tirthankara in 4 row we can see, and the Chhatrabali and the Vidyadharo and the garland bearer and the drummers are also depicted, and the halo has clearly has beaded and leaf shape decorated, and the jata is really different from the earlier images. So it is more developed jata depicted here. So this is also clearly indication that how the art style developed in a small zone. Like the Jata Jutu, the early phase, and how from the early phase, the developed phase we can notice. And this is not the image of the Rishabhnath. but unfortunately, because the Jota Mukut is not depicted, and the pedestal is also not clear, so it is the unidentified DDT at present, and it is a Panchatrithika type images, because in the back slab of the images it contains the 4 miniature Tirthankara, and as per the Jain iconographic feature, we can call as a Panchatrithika type of images. And again the Rishabhnath, and again this is the center image is also Rishabhnath, because though the head of the images is missing, but you can see in the shoulder the hair lock touch the shoulder. So this is also image of the Rishabhnath, and the right side image also Rishabhnath, because in this case also the hair lock also noticed in the shoulder, and the some portion of the bull is also clearly visible. And this is not 24 this is also the Chaubishi type Tirthankara, but it also includes the presence of the Ashtagraha depiction. So the Ashtagraha depiction and along with the 24 miniature is very much common in case of this particular area, whereas in the other part of our area, fringe area, we notice both the only 24 Tirthankaras depictions in the back slab, and in some cases we also notice both the 24 Tirthankara and the planetary deities. In some cases we notice only the planetary deities except without any 24 miniature Tirthankara. So the variation is also not noticed in case of the Rishabhnath images for this particular area. And this is very interesting. This is the image of a Shantinath, but unfortunately the upper part of the image is missing. But you can realize that both the back slab, though the upper part of the back slab is missing, but both the back slab containing the Ashtagraha, not Ashtagraha, Navagraha, because just you can see closely the last just below the Rahu, this third images, the small images of the figure are also depicted. This is the image of the Ketu, so snake tail figure, and this is the Navagraha depictions. And more interesting that the two Vidya, two Chori Behara also depicted, but in the side of the Chori Behara, both the side, the Ganga and Yamuna is also depicted, and this is the inscribed image also. So the presence of the Ganga Jamuna in both the side of the Jaina Tirthankara is very much rare and not found in the other part of the periphery at the core area. For these cases, for this case, we have noticed this, and on the basis of the lanchan also, because partially the lanchan is visible, it clearly indicates that deer is depicted. So this is maybe this is the image of the Tirthankara Shantinath, and both the side Ganga with Makara and the Yamuna with tortoise is depicted. So it also feel about the existence of the temple, how the temple constructed, and both the side of the temple entrance, the Ganga Yamuna is depicted. So we not found the presence of the temple, but we can realize, but we can assumption from the depictions of this Ganga Yamuna in the images. This may be the main images, or it indicates that they know about the existence of the Ganga Yamuna in the entrance area of the temple. So it is not indirectly indicate about the existence of the temple. And you can this is another interesting images, though the image is not identified because the lanchana is not clearly visible, but you can see in these images that the main images is just placed within a arch and pillar like arch. In the pillar the gruho is also depicted. In case of these images, the Ashtagraha is depicted, and the arch is you can see in the just top of the back slab that the like pida like structure is has been constructed. So then they know about the pida type of the temple. So probably this type of the temple activity was present during this time of the early medieval phase. And this is another Chaubishi type image of Rishabhnath, and the lower one was also the Rishabhnath images. But in this case, the planetary deities is not depicted. Only the Chaubishi type images is partially seen in both the sides of the back slab. And in this case, the right side images, you can see in the right side images, again the planetary deity has been depicted, and the lower images is the image of small images of the image of Ambika. The mango tree is visible just behind the images, and the two her son is also depicted. And just beside the images of the Ambika, this is the image of the Vishnu. This is not as it with the Jainism. The Vishnu images also found, 2-3 Vishnu images also found from the Bula. And you can see the presence of the Jaino-Teutonic couple or Jaina parents also they depicted, also found in the site of the Bula. So this is a complete site we can call that. We found the Chaumukha, we found the Rishabnath and the other Tirthankara images, and we found the images with the Ganga Yamuna. We also found the image of the Ambika, because Ambika was, though the Ambika was the Yakshi of Tirthankara Neminathu, but it is very much common in Eastern India, especially in the Bihar and Bengal and the Jharkhand also, that the Ambika is widely worshipped among the Jaina community during the early medieval period. And it is evident from the Bengal also, because in Bengal we also found more than 10 images of the Ambika from the different parts of West Bengal. And in some cases we have found the Ambika depicted in the image of the Rishabnath. Though the Chakreshwari is the Yakshi of the Rishabnath, but in Rishabnath images the Ambika is also depicted. So it indicates that the importance of this Yakshi of the Neminath. So also Jaina-Teutonic couple also found. So we can call that this is one of the lost Jain pilgrimage center in the Chhotanagpur Plateau. Unfortunately, we only found the Jain images, and though the images also found, but it is under all the images kept in the open to the sky. As a result, the iconographic features and the stylistic and the iconographic feature and the sculpture are gradually withered. And this type of the Amlaka also found. So it indicates that the existence of the large temple in the area. And this is the unfortunately the missing images of the missing head of the beautiful image of the Tirthankara Rishabnath. And in this case also the 24 Tirthankara depicted in the both the side of the back slab, and just below the 24 Tirthankara the miniature Ostogro also depicted. So this type of the features, 24 Tirthankara with Ostogro, is very much common in this site especially. And this is the Dighi, just far away from the 2 kilometers away from the site. You can see that this they use the door jam, and in the door jam you can see the Gajalakshmi is depicted. So I have told that we can understand the existence of the temple from the archaeological remains. So this door jam they reused by the modern public for their own door. So this door jam also indicate the existence of the temple in this particular area. And there are some other sculpture not found from this particular site, but very near to the site, Pawanpur. We have found this beautiful two damaged images. These in the right side, the Rishabnath images, seated images, and in the left side, the image is not identifiable because the lower portion of the image is missing. But this is a Chobishi type of the Tirthankara. And in now I have come to my next topic. Next topic means next site, which is Devoltad. The site is known, and some article has already been published, and I also published one article on the Devoltad iconographic Jain heritage of Devoltad. But I include this particular site for the present day lecture, because in one cases we notice that the sculpture without temple, and we can reconstruct the assumption that the temple on the basis of the sculptural activity and the other architectural member found from the in and around the site. But in this case, the temple exists, though the temple is renovated and it is colored and it is changed its original shape. We don't, because the dome is actually changed. The shikhar is already changed and it is renovated, but the context of the temple exists, so it indicates that the existence of the temple Devoltad, and the temple containing beautiful images of the 4 images of Tirthankara Rishabnath. The center images you can see is very life-size images, more than 8 feet height images we have found in this site Devoltad. And probably this is the main shrine, main deity for the temple, and another 3 images which is not perfectly same size. Probably they use as a Parshva Devata or the back side or both the three side for the Parshva Devata purpose. But all four are the Rishabhnath images, the beautiful and the live colossal images of the Rishabhnath. But in this case, it is also interesting that all the four images, except one images in the just left side of the main images, all three images containing the 24 Tirthankara miniature depiction and the planetary deities, except these images, the left side images, it is missing only the 24 Tirthankara depicted, no miniature Tirthankara miniature grow images depicted. But this presence of these images, it indicate that the popularity and the understanding the existence of one of the important pilgrimage center, another important pilgrimage center in the Chhotanagpur Plateau, the core area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau. So we can realize that how we lost the glorious heritage of the Jainism, and we lost the context of the Jain antiquities, and we only highlighted or only still we worship the images, but without knowing the context, without knowing the popularity and the importance of those images. Now again, these images in the recent visit, I noticed that the temple again renovated, and they again renovated the images also. So this is very unfortunate. We understand about the authenticity of the stone sculpture. If we color those images, we lost the glorious past of our own heritage. So it is my request for all the listener, if you visited, or if you when you have visited the site, you can share your view to the public, that not to the color or not to the worship these images directly with the oil and other thing. So it lost its authenticity, and it's beautiful, important also. So you can see in the main images the beautiful image of the Rishabhnath. In the pedestal, the bull is depicted, and in front of the bull, the image of the Chakreshwari, 400 Chakreshwari, is also depicted, which is very much rare in case of the this region, because Yakshini is not present. Mainly in the central India, we notice the Yakshini present in the pedestal. However, in one cases, we notice the presence of the Yakshini in the pedestal in case of the Devoltan. And these are some other images which both the left and the right side of the main images. You can see the depiction of the miniature Tirthankara and the miniature Tirthankara with planetary deities. And these images, only the 24 Tirthankara is depicted. No additional, no planetary deities not depicted. And rest of the three images containing the 24 Tirthankara along with the miniature Tirthankara. And this is, and I also include these 2-3 images because these are site, the earlier site, the Bhula is not far away from the Chandil. And in the Chandil, when the dam was constructed, some Jaina antiquities found from the dam and the river, and they collected and they stored it in the small museum. But we don't know. We reported those images as a Chandil or the Patkun Museum or Shish Mahal Museum, but we not know about the context because the images found from the riverbed. So we lost the context. So probably in the periphery area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau, these images were collected, and these are also the very beautiful images of the Shantinath images. And this is the Rishabhnath images, small images, and other architectural member you can see from the Chandil. So this is also another case that we lost another temple site, and only these images kept in the modern museum. So this is the brief discussion I have tried to share during my exploration. We have found these images, and when the Ganbir sir actually requested me for delivering this lecture on H.D. Sankalia Memorial lecture on Jain Heritage online lecture, and I basically think about this will be the best topic to share among the scholar where the recently they explore and they go started their PhD work, they can understand and they can realize that what are the way we can find out our study area and explore and understanding the development of the Jain antiquity in not in a broad way, in micro regional way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful and insightful lecture and for all this information on the lesser known sites of the region of Chhotanagpur Plateau. We have a few questions from the type box. I will read them. Arzav Jain has asked, sir, have you discovered inscriptions engraved on the Jain images from Chhotanagpur region from the 14th to the 18th centuries?
Some of the metal images we have noticed in the back side, some image about the donation by the traders. One or two images we have found, but in stone images, one Bula images also containing some inscriptions, and there are the stone slab also, and which is the inscription already been studied, but not included in the topic. But there we have found the later images of the Jain images in the metal images, especially for the Chhotanagpur Plateau, containing some inscription about the name of the donation and the date of the donation when they donate the images.
Thank you so much, sir. Chaitanya Ashtekar has asked, sir, what are the possible explanations for the depiction of Navagrahas in Jain images?
Actually, the Navagraho depiction, they have depicted the Navagraho like the in the Brahmanism as well as the Jainism also. When we for this Graho is associated with the study of the astrology. So, but they are not going to the astrological. But when they not only the Graho, they also depicted the Dikpal also. So why they depicted the Dikpal and Graho? Because especially in this part of the Chhotanagpur Plateau or in Bihar and Bengal and as well as Jharkhand, we have found this type of the depiction. The reason behind this, according to me, because we have not found a good number of the temple constructed for those images. Probably they constructed the temple in the perishable material, because we not found a good number of the architectural member from all the sites, but we found abundant number of the Jain images. So it may be that when they prepare the images, they put the planetary deities as well as the Dikpal to understand about the main image as a temple. And I have already shown that in some cases the images placed within a arch and the arch, the pyramid type shapes. So they assume and they created the temple just behind the back slab, and they put the miniature Tirthankara as well as the planetary deities and the Graho for the which they use for the decoration of the temple according to the temple architecture style. Because for Dikpal they use the presence of the Dikpal for the 8 direction, and the entrance area they follow the depiction of the Graho like Ganga Jamuna and along with the Graho. So this element they put in the main images.
Thank you, sir. Pronil Das has asked, does the region follow the same temple architecture of Purulia, Bengal, that is Deur architecture, and does it help to reconstruct the early medieval temple of Bengal, which have only they?
Yes. In the Purulia Bankura, the style which is followed also found in this core area, because this is the core area actually, and the Purulia Bankura is the fringe area of the Chhotanagpur Plateau. So they follow the same art style with some regional variations.
Thank you, sir. Akash Rao has asked, are there any instances of local tribal influences upon any of the Jain art tradition in Chhotanagpur region, and also possibility of appropriation of the Jain artifacts by the tribes?
Tribes actually, I have told that the tribe, not actually tribe, the downtrodden people, because still we notice that in the Jharkhand and the Purulia, Bankura and the Jharkhand area, this type of the downtrodden people are still they survived, and They are not accepted by the higher orthodox Brahmanical ideology. As a result, they when the traders they choose this. They follow the route, and they see that saw that there are some resource, and they can use the resource by the local people. So as a result, they involve them, and the local public, the local people, who are the not followers of the orthodox Brahmanical ideology, they just accepted the Jainism like the steel date. People see in the northeastern country also, and northeastern state of India and other part of the how the missionary activity of the Christian missionary activity is still going on. That they just approach to the people who are not highly finance, they are not educated, and so just like they approach and they influence those people, and like in that time also the traders, they see that there are some resource, and they can use the resource. So they involve the local public, and local public, they also thought that the religious ideology which the traders follower, they easily accepted them. So they gradually follow this religious ideology. As a result, when the present day the Sharak, who are actually the follower of the Jainism, now that they transfer from the Jainism to the Brahmanical ideology. But in their ritual also, they sometimes they follow the Jain rituals, and there's also in the food habit also. We can see in the food habit like in Chhotanagpur Plateau, they are still in the some cases they are all vegetarian. So this indicate that the Jainism is still how the deep Jainism penetrated in this part of the land.
Thank you, sir. We will just take one or two more questions now. Ramyajit Sarkar has asked, sir, would you please suggest some sources to know about the Jain Chaumukhas?
For the Jain Chaumukha, you can go through the major books like the Upisha Jain Rupamandan, and you can also refer the B.C. Bhattacharya Jain Iconography and the Shantinal Nagar books. They are some main books for the Jain art and iconography, I think.
Okay, sir. Last question we will take. Saurabh Jain has asked, are the images inscribed? If yes, what is the language and script of the inscription found on the sculptures?
All the images which are found in the inscriptions, or basically they are the Proto-Bengali, and the images are not in the some cases we have noticed the language, the Sanskrit they use, and some cases, but in we can call as a Proto-Bengali type script we have found in the images.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now I think it's time for me to express a formal vote of thanks to Dr. Shubha Majumdar, sir. Sir's lecture not only focused on the various aspects of iconography, art, and architecture of the region of Chhotanagpur Plateau, but he also very well emphasized on the importance of context and the importance of looking at the images, not just from the point of view of that's the Mool Nayak or something like that, but also the associated imagery on the parikar of the central Jain image is also extremely important. And sir has also raised important questions about the awareness regarding heritage, not just of the commoners, but also of the academicians from this particular session. On the behalf of Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology and Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, I would like to express my heartful thanks to Dr. Shubha Majumdar, sir, Superintending Archaeologist of the Archaeological Survey of India, Mumbai Circle. I also thank Dr. Srinitra Pandey, sir, Dr. Amruta Natu, ma'am, Dr. Kurush Dalal, sir, Dr. S.K. Aruni, sir, Dr. Joseph Manuel, sir, for attending today's session. And I also thank all of you participants for joining in such large numbers. I thank Dr. Shrikant Ganbir, Dhananjay Khandare, and others who are associated with this program for its smooth functioning. Thank you very much, and we will see you in the next Professor H.D. Sankalia monthly lecture series on Jain heritage in the next month.
Thank you.